right, Von Miller. This is incredible news. I am so used to hating on Jerry Jones and all the stupid trades that he's made. Do you remember the Jonathan Mingo deal? That was terrible. But this is a great. This is a moment where I look at the Cowboys' personnel moves, and they've just absolutely nailed it. What's the problem?
No, there's no problem.
The way you delivered that was terrible.
It was. People aren't even going to just acknowledging that anymore because they just want to pretend it didn't happen. It was bad then. It's bad now. But they can still redeem themselves by the way they've transpired over the course of this offseason. And getting Von Miller, a guy who is, he gets 3.5 sacks this year. He moves into 6th all-time on the career sacks list, solo 6, jumping Michael Strahan. We are talking about one of the best pass rushers of all time. This is not just a throwaway addition. This is a big-time ad. He's also not coming off a 2-sack season in 17 games. He had 9 last year.
On a bad defense.
Yeah. On a bad defense. And now you put him on a line with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary and Donovan Ezaraku and a bunch of Cowboys players that know how to get after the passer. And it's just, it opens everything up for a defense in so many ways. I love the move. It made sense for Vaughn. It made sense for the Cowboys. And he doesn't have to play every down. This is not an every down situation. It's go get the quarterback on passing situations.
I know this is probably like the cheap way to go.
And this is the tweet we got yesterday with him making the announcement, essentially. Dallas, let's make this one special.
Look at that AI work.
Interesting he's throwing the captain patch on there, by the way. I'm just throwing there.
That was sly.
Some interesting AI work. He's
but,
probably already on the leadership council.
No, but this was the tweet he sent out, and then this was what DeMarcus Ware sent out, because obviously they're kind of two ships passing the night in terms of ending their careers on opposite teams. Mm-hmm. D. Ware with the Broncos, and obviously Vaughn started his career with the Broncos and is heading to the Cowboys on the latter stages. Ware famously won the Super Bowl with Von Miller in Super Bowl 50. That was 2015, which scarily is now 11 years ago.
Well, and Todd Archer recently tweeted this out, talking about DeMarcus Ware on the impact that Von Miller can have on those younger guys like you talked about. You think about the fact that Malachi Lawrence and Donovan Ezaraku, you're talking about a second-year player and a rookie, are being tasked with kind of filling the void that Micah Parsons left, right? And it's one thing to learn from a guy like Kenny Clark or a guy like Quinnen Williams when it comes to how to go about your business and how to be a professional and how to handle all the things that come with being a player in the National Football League. But getting to learn your position from a literal, probably first, well, at least from a future Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Who's done it, who's won at the highest level, who's been, like as you just said, coming off a season where he had 9 sacks at 36. He's proven to defy like the longevity odds of playing at that level in the NFL. And earlier you were saying like maybe statistically speaking, his better years happened before 2020.
Yeah, let's just get into his resume real quick. This is VO13 here. 2-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 50 MVP, 3-time first team All-Pro, 4-time second team All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, on the 2010s All-Decades team, and obviously he was Rookie of the Year when he first came in the league from the defensive side. So he's got skins on the wall. He has done pretty much everything you would want from a defensive end. He's been the guy in a prime scenario in Super Bowl 50, so he's proven he can be like the biggest impact player on a championship level team. But all of those accolades were pre-2020. And it was kind of stark that he didn't even have anything in the early 2020s. You know what I mean? Like, especially with Buffalo, given what they were working with on the defensive line. And it's not a knock against him. You can be a quality defender and an impact player, but just not be the guy. And I don't think they need him to be the guy to be successful here. And I think that's kind of what we're all getting at is he can be the third down guy. He can be the mentor. He can bring other guys up and have impact in other ways as well.
Well, and think about how much he could aid in the development of those young guys.
Yes.
Right? Like getting to learn from a guy who's playing your position and down in and down out, doing what you need to be doing. Donovan Ezaraku flashed last year. Like, he showed some real potential. Obviously, you also have James Houston, who was second behind. I think it was Clowney.
That's James Houston.
On the team last year. Now, none of these guys have a name right at this point that pale. I mean, they all kind of pale in comparison to a Micah Parsons. Like, you don't have that, yes. But if you, as you said, if you have a couple that are serviceable and can kind of played, as you said, more team defense along that front. I don't know. I think his addition is obviously huge in terms of what he could potentially bring himself, but what he can do in terms of developing this defense.
I think it also speaks to where the Cowboys kind of sit in a lot of people's minds in the NFC. And I say this just looking across the league. The LA Rams are the only ones that kind of feel like they are out on an island on their own. I think everyone expects Seattle to regress a little bit based off of last year. But aside from those two teams, who really scares you in the NFC? Everyone else is flawed. And I think Vaughn coming to the Cowboys at this stage of his career, yes, it's a homecoming, but it's also kind of a vote of confidence that, like, no, I think this team can do something, and I can be a part of it.
Yeah, and listen, it could be a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
It's like in the NBA, if you attract a big free agent, maybe it's going to mean other people want to come here. Could be a mid-season deal.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to come to the Cowboys and go, try to make a run and take a shot at the Super Bowl.
I have two thoughts on that because I was thinking about that this morning as I was getting ready. I was listening to some of Vaughn's comments about, like, he wanted to come to Dallas. He let us know that over the last month.
He lives here, by the way. Like in the off seasons, he's always here.
He wanted to come to the Cowboys specifically. And I get that there's this lore of America's team. Don't let me forget my other point because I had a second point there. But I'm addressing your first.
I don't know what it is, but I'll be sure to let you know.
We're on the point of people wanting to come to the Cowboys. I get that with America's team and the lore that surrounds this team. I think people want to come here because you have really nice facilities. You have just like a great quality of life with the Cowboys, but they're not necessarily known for winning, right? But
in the last 30 years, sure, winning at the highest level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for the caveat. But at the same time, when Shoddy started here, he said he wanted to build the best culture in sports, and since he took over basically in January of what year was that? 25. It's been a year and a half.
Yeah. It feels like it's been 5, but yes.
It does seem like they have actually backed that statement up with their actions. You bring in guys of high character like Quinnen Williams, like Kenny Clark. Obviously, Dak, when it comes to the football side of things, like he's lauded for the type of leadership and culture that he's brought. And then you bring in a guy like Vaughn, who only just further cements that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To me, culture is kind of simple. Stock your team full of guys that want to be there.
Yeah.
Not guys that tolerate there, not guys that are just for them. Guys that want to be there. And you'll have success.
I'm not a Dodgers homer, I promise. But like how many times, I knew that was coming. That's why I had to give the caveat. How many times do you see the biggest players in sports or biggest players in baseball want to go to the Dodgers? It's not just because they win all the time, but they
pay them.
They always talk about the culture there.
Yeah.
Like the guys want to be there.
It's the
I
culture,
just wonder.
Yeah, everything Dodgers-wise is like top notch.
Well, and what is to say that the Cowboys don't have everything else top notch? Like,
well, that's always been the question, is the conflict
right?
between the brand and results, right?
I think the amenities, if you will. I was talking to people in Seattle this weekend, and they were like, the spread. The photographer from Seattle who was doing his first Cowboys game, what he remembers is how nice everybody was at the stadium and how well they were treated and how good the food was. And I'm like, that is on brand with the Cowboys experience. Everything is there, minus the winning seasons resulting in playoff success.
Do you think that Cowboys Catering is now going to use Von Miller's Chicken Company, Greener Pastures?
I didn't mean to go down that
As
road.
long as they don't mess with the mac and cheese, we're good.
Yeah. Please don't mess with the mac and cheese recipe.
I did, but I can't remember it right now.
Okay,
so y'all talk, and then I'll come back to my second point.
Well, you were physically present. I mean, as much as we want to talk this up, this unit has not played it down yet. Yeah. Like, they have not physically taken the field together. We saw a glimpse of what it's like with Christian Parker coordinating a defense in the first preseason game against Seattle.
And you're not getting prime Kenny Clark. You're not getting prime Rashawn Gary, right? These are guys that are veterans that are probably on the downswing of their careers that can probably give you a couple more good years. But you still need impact. You still need to rush the quarterback in today's NFL because it is such a pass-happy league. And here's what is crazy when you look at the numbers. Cowboys were tied for 7th fewest sacks in the NFL last year. Do you know who led the Cowboys in sacks last year?
Jadeveon Clowney.
With how many?
Was it like 13?
8.5.
Oh, it felt like 13.
Meaning Von Miller would have led the Cowboys in sacks last year with 9. And Jadeveon Clowney was an aging vet last year.
Yeah.
They're basically looking at Von Miller, and they brought in Jadeveon late in that process. I think it was like week 1.
And also, that includes like a 3-sack outburst right at the end of the year.
Correct. It was really like a 3-game stretch for him where he just went off. I think about the Chiefs game on Thanksgiving. He really had a great game.
Yep.
But Von Miller is essentially serving that role, right? I mean, he's not going to have to play every down. It is going to be passing downs. It's going to be passing situations. It's keeping him on the field for key moments, but not every play where it could throw more tread on his tires.
Right.
I think they'll be smart about it. He stayed in good shape. He's played the game long enough. It's not like he needs a 3-month ramp-up period. Part of him missing most of training camps, I wonder if it was by design.
Yeah.
And that's a question for Shadi and Vaughn probably. But, hey, train, don't get injured, and then we'll bring you in. I'm sure they looked at the writing on the wall a little bit with some of their other options at the end. There's just a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
I have a question for you on that, and this is my second point. Do you think that with this move that they made, that kind of checks their box in terms of, okay, well, we've addressed the need at the end, or pass rusher? Or do you think that they're, because like to me,
are you saying, do you think this takes them out of the Max Crosby?
I am asking that, and I'm also saying, even if it's not Max, like, do you think this is enough? Do you think that they feel like this is moving the needle enough to not need to make another?
I think the question boils down to what the Cowboys want out of this year. If they want to go all the way, as they always proclaim, it probably isn't, if we're being totally honest. But it puts them in the mix. I feel much more confident about that side of the ball.
Yeah, I
now.
feel a lot better about the pass rush. I still have questions about the secondary. Like
Right.
a lot of questions.
But a good pass rush makes up for a bad secondary.
Correct.
So,
and it's easier to bolster a pass rush than it is to just find an all-pro corner on the street.
Right.
So I like it from that perspective. But again, there's just question marks at edge. You don't know what you're really going to get out of Rashawn Gary at this stage of his career. Not to say he's old, but again, he's not prime.
right.
You don't know what you're going to get out of year 2 Donovan Ezraku. You flash, but guys also regress sometimes. And it might not be a good fit in the new scheme. Malachi Lawrence looks like he's a whole chapter behind the rest of the rookie, a rest of the ends. He might not really make much of an impact till later in the season as he kind of adapts to more of an NFL-style playbook. And so you kind of add all these things together. It's like, well, who's the guy we can count on third down and long to go get the guy besides Quinnen up the middle? Like, you could say Rashawn Gary, but I think we all know that that's probably not enough.
Yeah.
And so adding Von Miller, even at age 37, coming off a 9-sack season, is really good. And I'll tell you what, he probably would be third all-time in career sacks if he didn't tear his ACL in 2022 and then have a down year the following season. I mean, guys take a whole year to recover from those injuries despite still playing. And so what we saw for a guy in his early 30s was a torn ACL, recovery time, some down years because of it. His numbers could be even higher. And so for him to still perform like that, 2-3 years removed from recovery, is really impressive. And a credit to kind of how he, keeps him in good shape throughout the offseason.
You did make me look this up. There is only one player in NFL history that has won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different teams. I would hazard a guess you guys probably would not be able to guess unless you looked it up.
What are the eras?
80s and early 90s.
Early 90s.
I'll give you the teams.
No. Yeah,
I still don't think you're getting them.
Yeah, give me the teams.
Oakland / LA, San Francisco, Washington.
Gore?
No.
The 80s.
No.
No, that was.
So it'd be the Washington over the Bills team. It would be that Washington.
Yeah, I think it was 91.
I can't even tell you what happened last year.
Matt Millen.
Matt Millen won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different teams?
He won 4 Super Bowls with 3 different teams. 2 with the Raiders, technically 2 in 2 different cities, because it was Oakland first, then LA.
What?
Then with San Francisco, and finally with Washington. He is the only player to have accomplished that in NFL history.
Wow.
How about that, huh? Von Miller trying to join that elusive club.
Yeah,
elite
very elusive
club.